Hello, hi. Today we're going to discuss once again a topic related to the group Anonymous and to issues related to the Internet. William Stallman, Richard Stallman, writing in The Guardian in the UK, has defended the denial of service, what we call attacks, as a form of demonstration similar to what happens when a mass demonstration floods the streets. And he says that the people who provide services like PayPal, Visa, Bank Bank of America, that those people are victimized by these demonstrations in the same way that a person who has a shop on a street where there's a mass demonstration suffers a lack of service. Actually, I think that's a little misleading. After all, the person who suffers a financial loss because there's a demonstration on the street only suffers collateral damage. No one set out to close down his shop, costing money. But that's not what's happening when a group like Anonymous attacks a group like PayPal, Visa, or MasterCard. When those groups target an economic institution, they want to do economic harm or damage. The groups have said it themselves. The assaults on those groups were called Operation Payback. Spokesmen for Anonymous say, we won't forget and we won't forgive. This is not collateral damage we're talking about, something that's incidental to the ability of people to express themselves freely. It's not just a denial of service, but a deliberate assault on economic institutions. And the objective of the assault is to do damage. What's being done in these computer attacks, and they are attacks, is not like what happens when free people engage in a demonstration in the streets. It's more like the activity called extortion. It's the threat to do a thing that you may not legally do if someone else does something that they may legally do. Those groups, PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, they can choose to deal or not deal with WikiLeaks. But the groups that are trying to shut them down don't have a legal right to shut them down. Stallman suggested that, well, this is not really a hack or an attack because you don't sneak in, you don't take anything. You simply overwhelm the capacity of the system to function. Well, it may be true that you just overwhelm the capacity of the system to function. But wait a minute. When you enter someone's internet site, you're a guest. And if you had entered physical property, you'd be a licensee. The extent of your license is to do the activity that you are permitted to come and engage in. Shop, browse, whatever. But when someone comes there with the intent to do damage, it violates the license. Now, Stallman argues that this is not like a virus because it doesn't damage the system. I don't buy that. If it stops the computer systems of those companies from functioning or forces them to function in a way other than it is expedient to their business, then you've damaged them. And the law in the United States and surely in other countries prohibit you from doing this. In the United States, we have a law that's designed to protect government computers and banking computers from fraud, and that's called the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And it clearly identifies, I believe, this kind of activity that's intended to jam or stop systems from functioning as something that's against the law. But I think there's something else we have to question when this is our model for political activity, when our model for political activity is conversion. When our model for political activity is coercion. In the 1960s in America, there were several kinds of protests, and many of those protests were built around the model of nonviolent resistance, refusing to do things that you thought were wrong and acting out of conscience to violate the law in order to bring to the attention of the community things that you thought were more important than the immediate application of those laws. There are models for this kind of activities. People like Martin Luther King, people like Gandhi. But they all shared one thing in common when they chose to lecture their society by breaking its laws. They all freely submitted themselves to the law's punishments and accepted those punishments in exchange for their rights to conduct a protest. And by doing that, they kind of balanced the books between objecting to what they thought was immoral in the society and the problem that's created when people break laws whenever they wanted to. They broke the laws because they felt they were morally compelled to break these laws, but they paid the penalty for breaking those laws and therefore balanced the books between themselves and the society. The groups that are conducting protests today are making it all too easy. They're demanding the right to break the laws of society and to injure other people and expect to pay no price at all. What's disturbing about this group, Anonymous, is I look at the photographs of them and I see people wearing these masks, these anarchist masks, masks of a person who attempted to blow up Parliament in Great Britain. It's shocking that people who are telling us that they're there for free institutions and free speech should routinely assume the guise of someone whose method was explosions and trying to destroy the Parliament of the free people. Thank you.